They assumed that the silence would not last. They believed that eventually you would call, send a message, or try to reconnect. In their minds, the distance was temporary, but time kept passing. Your silence became a message of its own, not driven by anger, but rather by clarity. You recognized what the situation was and chose not to repeat the same patterns, and that decision surprised them. They are unsettled by something that they never expected. You are not chasing them. You're not calling. You're not sending messages. You aren't even asking others about them. You simply moved on, and the silence that you left behind has become louder than any argument ever could have been. In their mind, this was impossible. They believed that you were attached to them. They believed that you depended on them. They believed that your life could not continue without their presence. After all, they knew that you had already removed certain people from your life before, so they convinced themselves that there was no way you would remove them as well. Surely you would hold on to them. You would tolerate them. Surely you would come back. But what they fail to understand is something simple. You value your dignity. You value your peace. You understand that respect is not something a person should have to beg for. You had already given this person more than enough patience, more than enough understanding, and far more kindness than they ever deserved. You did things for them that even their own family had not done. Yet they expected you to quietly absorb their mistreatment, to endure their behavior, and to remain silent while they slowly chipped away at your peace. They believed that they had you completely under their control. They believed that you would never leave. But they misunderstood your strength. Your strength was never weakness. Your patience was never dependence. You simply had the capacity to endure more than most people. You had survived difficulties in life that many people could not imagine. Yet despite those hardships, you continued to smile. You continued to laugh. You continued to move through life with hope and faith. And that alone troubled them, because they had not even faced a fraction of what you endured. Yet they struggled to find peace within themselves. Your resilience exposed something that they were not ready to confront. Even more than that, your faith unsettled them. Despite everything that you had experienced, you never turned your back on God. As it is written, Romans chapter 8, verse 28, and we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. While others allowed bitterness to grow inside them, you continued forward with faith. When you finally chose to step away, they assumed that it would be temporary. A few days, maybe a week at most. Sooner or later, they believed that you would call, but the call never came. Because once you recognized that truth, something inside you changed. You realized that the person you thought you needed had actually been holding you back. You were the one with the vision. You were the one with the ideas. You were the one creating movement in both lives. And once you walked away, your path forward became clear. Now they're left to navigate life without the strength they once leaned on. And you continue moving forward, growing stronger, wiser, and more peaceful with every step. I'd like to end this message off with a parable. A bird once lived inside a golden cage. The owner of the cage believed that the bird could never survive outside of it. After all, the bird had lived there for many years. You would never make it in the wild, the owner often said. One day, the cage door was accidentally left open. The bird hesitated at first, then it stepped forward and flew. The owner waited, certain that the bird would soon return, but the bird never came back, because once it felt the open sky, it realized something that it had forgotten. It had wings all along. The lesson? Sometimes people believe that you need them simply because you tolerated them for a long time. But endurance is not dependence. And once a person recognizes their own strength, they no longer return to the cages that they have outgrown. And that's it for this message. I'd like to thank everybody who made it to the end of the video. I'm truly honored by your support. If this message resonated with you at all, please consider dropping a comment, giving me some feedback, hitting the like button, and subscribing. It's been ChrisAnesti, and until next time, take care and have a good one.